Piper Cub is, well, a Piper. It's such a popular type that it's synonymous with the word aircraft in general. Ford T could be in any color as long as it was black, and Piper Cub can be in any color as long as it is yellow. This black flash down the side is also obligatory.
There were about 3,000 Piper J3s built before the start of World War II. There were almost 20,000 built between 1938 and 1947, the wartime demand for training aircraft being so high that the production rate rose to one Piper Cub built every 20 minutes. The Schreiber-Bogen model is a later version of the aircraft, the contemporary PA-18 Super Cub. Introduced in 1947, it remained in production until 1994. There were only 8,000 built, and it is still often seen at airfields all over the world. You only have to take a close look to tell whether it's a vintage J3, a war veteran L4 grasshopper, or a classic PA-18. It's all the more difficult to tell from afar since it has become fashionable to paint the sides of later aircraft so that they resemble the earliest pre-war J3s with rounded rear windows. The original plane was rather simple. The PA-18 is still the same rag and tube, steel tube frame with canvas cover as a J3 or a L4, but something has changed. First of all, both earlier versions had a single fuel tank placed in front, right behind the instrument panel. The craft had two pilots. The first one sat with a metal petrol barrel a few centimetres above his knees. When flying solo, one had to fly sitting in the rather uncomfortable rear seat in order to balance the aircraft. The PA-18 had fuel tanks attached to its wings, and the pilot had glass indicator tubes on both sides of his head. The readout was both accurate and representative. One could even admire the colour of the petrol. The Super Cub's engine could be 2 or 3 times as powerful as that of the older type, and another important change was adding flaps. With high lift wings and enough power, the craft is easily converted into a float plane. It can also tow gliders or advertising banners. The Piper Cub is a very simple plane, and its model equals its simplicity of construction. There's a fair amount of cardboard parts to be cut out, but it's nothing overwhelming. The Piper Cub is a common sight on airfields and at airshows, and there are tens of different models of this plane. Most of them, however, are flying models, because a radio-controlled Piper is many times easier to fly than, for example, a Spitfire or a Mustang model. You can build a fine static model of any aircraft, be it a Wright Flyer or an SR-71 Blackbird, but if you want to try flying one, start with a Piper. It's as forgiving as the original, and you may even be able to land it without crashing. Just leave the controls alone